Man, you have to move with care in that jungle. All around, especially in tongue. No one couldn't walk alone. Tongue was like a battle zone.
Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. We are having a discussion with the TTPS on New Year celebrations and safety issues. We know many people love to do the most in terms of ringing in the New Year. Well, we're speaking with Inspector Michelle Lewis, getting an idea of some of the do's and some of the don'ts. Morning, ma'am. Season's greetings. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning to the both of you, and to Trinidad and Tobago, and compliments to you and yours as well.
Thank you so much. What is one of the biggest things that you look at in terms of safety issues ringing in the new year as we transition from one year to the other?
Certainly, one of the things that has always come up and keep popping up is the use of fireworks. Of course, the use of bamboo busing, and of course, in some areas, the actual use of firearms, whether illegal or otherwise, to shoot off some to bring in the new year. And so this morning, when the TTPS look at the trend that has occurred, it is important this morning that we share some tips and some, not just tips, but caution to persons who may have intention of doing so tomorrow, which is all it is, right, to bring in the new year. And so this morning, we want to look firstly at the use of what we know that, we generally like to use the bamboo, and, you blow it with the kerosene. It's kerosene?
It's a traditional, kerosene.
Right.
Can I use something more flammable? Like,
right, so you use that, and you have children who are there with it as well. And of course, the bottle with the flammable liquid is there. And sometimes when we do so, we have children who are around, and you have items of clothing that are around, which can cause danger to the persons around, not just to the children, but also to the adults. Right. So it's important, even if you're doing that and you're practicing that there's a clear, safe distance away from other persons and, of course, the flammable liquid. Right, that is the first thing that we want to share. It is something that is practiced traditionally. It is very easy to get. You just go in the bush and you pick a bamboo, and the whole drill behind it, right? And then, of course, we have the use of fireworks. Now, fireworks in Trinidad is not illegal, but it can be hazardous, it can be dangerous, and in circumstances, the use of it in certain areas is in fact illegal.
So let's make that distinction. Where does the use, or when does the use of fireworks become illegal?
The use of fireworks becomes illegal when you utilize it in a city or in a borough, for example, in Port of Spain, in Arima, in San Fernando, and those areas. So what we would normally say proper, in the city proper, or in the borough. Exactly. So you would notice that for Independence Day, for example, fire services would have their particular distance. They will have their permits where they will actually set off the fireworks. For Independence Day, Arima does it, and other areas do it with permission that has been granted, because at that time it's a spectacle for a crowd to look at, and the crowd will also be a distance away. Now, persons who sell fireworks have permits to do so. We know of companies that actually have permits to sell fireworks because it is legal. But the use of fireworks, even with children at your home and away in residential areas, persons must be very mindful of, one, persons who are sick in your community, your animals, your pets in the area, because the noise is loud and it can really cause disturbance and nuisance to animals and to humans as well. Elderly persons, persons who are sick, and persons who just can't take it, really and truly. So we want persons to be very mindful, very considerate in the use of the fireworks and at the duration of the time that you're going to be setting off these fireworks in particular areas. Right? So the owner of a home must give authority and permission for the use of the fireworks in the first instance, being 60 meters away from the road, the street.
Right. I'm glad you give the specificity, because it means then that if I do live in the borough of Arima and I choose to set off fireworks, it's not impossible. I can get permission then if I have the rightful distance away from other persons. Now, granted that there are those exceptions. People do have savannas or spaces close to them that they could utilize. Should you fail to, act in these parameters, what is the chargeable offense or the penalties that I will face?
Summary offense is $1,000 before the court. Yes. for setting off the fireworks, contrary to the Summary Offences Act, Section 99. So it is a criminal offence where persons do so contrary. So the minister can indicate particular time. The Commissioner of Police grants permission, gives the permit for the use of the firework as well.
So you go to a borough council, you go to well, depending on where you are, what area, what
Well, you go to the Commissioner of Police, which is only one in the country.
I was just about to say. in the
As opposed to the municipal. So you actually go to the Commissioner to get that permission. You have to get it from the Commissioner of Police.
Good morning to all my neighbors in Arima.
Right, so it is important. Well, at this time, persons who would be seeking application would have, started that process already, because tomorrow is Holy Day, right? And at midnight, and even before that, all 8 p.m., people are setting off fireworks and that kind of thing. The other thing that we want to discuss as well is the use of illegal or legal firearms. Now, and another thing that we're also seeing is that persons are using these gel blasters.
That is one of the things I wanted to ask about, people even making modification. I saw somebody change out and use a gelita bottle on the top because that gave more capacity for the gel blaster.
Right. Now, of course, having fun, being, playful and all those things is good. We are not restricting your recreation activities. However, if those gel blasters look like a firearm, an actual firearm, it can be a criminal offense. If it is that you use it to intimidate someone, so you point it at someone who is unaware of what is taking place, it can be, it is a criminal offense, that can be. Persons can be charged for the offense, right? So we want parents and community members, because people are seeing it taking place in their community, and you're seeing young persons doing the simulation as if, in a war-like area, and they're fighting, and there's one group against the other, and that kind of thing. It's important that you recognize that the imitation of a firearm is illegal in Trinidad and is a criminal offense for which persons can be charged before the court on summary conviction to $75,000 and on indictment to 15 years imprisonment for the imitation, the use of a firearm or an imitation firearm to threaten or to commit an offense. And even if you don't commit the offense, but the person is fearful and believes that you are going to commit the offense based on you playing.
This is a chargeable offense.
Yes. The evidence can lead a particular way.
But are there official descriptors that you look for in terms of items you check off a box? Okay, this is too close, because I think people need permission to bring things in. So is it a matter of looking at saying, okay, well, this resembles the authentic thing a little too much, I won't get permission to bring it in? What is that process like?
So Custom and Excise, as you know, would manage the items that come in for sale in the country. But you also have persons who modify it. There are persons who would color it black or brown, as the case may be. It might come a particular color, like a pink or green or whatever, child color or playful color, with particular specs on it, and they would break off certain parts of it so it actually looks like an imitation firearm.
I'm learning things today.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, because I actually wasn't aware that that was a trend, an upward trend for us.
It is.
So knowing even more so that it is a chargeable offense to have that imitation weaponry is
and a very serious offense as well.
Yes.
Whether it is a fake firearm or a real firearm, the charge is the same. The criminal charge is the same. So parents have to be mindful of children who in the community playing these games, because it is not really a game. You're actually grooming the child. It's a sort of grooming the child for a particular type of behavior when you really look at it, right? Because persons are saying, yeah, do this and do that, Days of, encouraging certain action and behavior and trend can be really need to curtail it, because it opens the mind of the child to other things. Yes.
Especially if you have tools in your hands where looking at someone in a situation where there can be split-second decisions made. I will check and see if that is authentic or not after, if you point that at me. Because when you have a hammer, every problem seems like it's a nail, right? So in terms of being able to deal like that, but in the time that we have though, one of the things that people do is increase levels of drinking from sorrel to all other sorts of things.
Things that are red and has a percentage of alcohol in it.
You understand? So how do we treat that?
Right. So yes, so during this time, the New Year's, the Old Year's, you have a lot of drinking and consumption of alcohol taking place, and you have persons who are doing so and going behind the wheel of a vehicle and driving. We have seen that there has been a 19% increase in road fatalities in Trinidad and Tobago just last week, and some of those are definitely preventable. Right. The use of seatbelt saves lives. Whether you are a front seat or back seat passenger of a vehicle, utilize the seatbelts, right? Even though the back seat is not law in Trinidad, it can save your life, because if that vehicle gets impact, you can fly out that vehicle. So you're drinking, you know you're going to be drinking, you're going to be socializing and consuming alcohol. Ensure that you have a designated driver, one who is not drinking alcohol, and one who is not tired, who is not sleepy, and who is very much alert. We also want to encourage persons to utilize the walkways, the walkovers that we have across the different areas, the highways in particular, because we have seen an increase in pedestrian fatalities in Trinidad and Tobago, and that is because of one party being careless, really, because the highway is not an area that you're really supposed to be crossing the road like that. There are specific crossovers or walkovers for the highway, because it's a highway as opposed to an eastern main road, right? And so at particular areas, walk to where it is. It might take a little longer, but it can save your life. So utilize as a pedestrian the walkovers that we have. Please wear your seatbelts and drive safely. Obey. You cannot reach faster than you can. So your vehicle is not a plane, right? It cannot fly. Okay, notwithstanding how much it can go to. If you do so, you can cause death to yourself or injury and death to others. And I don't think that would be really intentional to bring in the new year.
Definitely.
With your family grieving and having to miss you.
Well, Inspector Lewis, we always say we are happy to have you to impart that knowledge, particularly where the fines are concerned. And of course, we will continue these conversations into the 2025, as we'll see you soon.
Yes, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service really appreciates the opportunity that we have to be on TTT. And so on behalf of the Commissioner of Police, the Executive, and all sworn and unsworn officers, we want to extend the best to you for 2025 to all of Trinidad and Tobago, and that we see a prosperous and bright and safe new year. Thank you.
Indeed, guys. We will be back with your birthdays next here on the Now Morning Show.
Leave a little room for loneliness. 4 things could happen